went to Jesuit High School, started in the class of 69, which I'm very proud of.
Wow.
And graduated in 73. And was a Yale leader at Jesuit, and had a lot of fun there. Well, what a great school.
Were you a good Catholic boy?
I was not. A good Catholic boy. So,
well, we had a lot of fun at Jesuit.
Yeah, we did. So I won't go into a lot of detail on that. What they taught me there at Jesuit was how to think things through, how to ask questions, or no, to give me permission to ask questions. So that's what, when I went to college and furthered my education, and even now, I have permission to ask questions of everything, to question everything. So when I went to college and actually graduated from school, BYU, years ago, in '82, I was a really good student by then because I knew how to research and how to ask questions. I was always searching for truth, spiritual truth, and felt that there was more. I'd always felt growing up that there was more to life, and like, where did I come from? You know, why was I on this planet? And who are we, as human beings? I would consider myself a pantheist, which is I accept all people's religious and spiritual views. I am open and I allow all humans to believe whatever they want to believe in. And I'm not trying to convert anybody to how I feel or what I believe, and I accept everyone for how they are. My whole journey, I really, as a person, has been very spiritual, to understand those questions that I had, like who I was and why I'm here and who are we as human beings and who God is. And I was an organic farmer. We'll get to that, I'm sure, but that also helped me to really become grounded, and no pun intended, but literally. I quieted my mind, which is something we have a very difficult time doing in this culture, in this society, in this age of such fast movement, that we don't take the time to really listen to Source, which is always inside of us, and it's inside of every human. We're all good.
It all sounds very Zen, very
transcendental. I studied, as part of my journey, the spiritual teachings of the masters of the Far East, so very Zen. And I've studied the indigenous cultures of the planet and their beliefs. That's also very Zen.
Right.
They're all very aligned. I graduated with a BFA in industrial design in 1982, and then worked for corporate America for about the next 17 years. I, walked away to do this, what I'm doing now.
You walked away from a salary.
And it led me into the most bizarre, unraveling experiences of my life. I lost everything. But in that losing of everything, I found what was really important, and that who I am and who God is and what my relationship is to Source, to the universe. And I don't have any questions anymore.
That's great. Did you always have a flair for design, for art, for...
Yes. Ever since I was about 5 or 6 years old, whenever we did, what's it called, penmanship in grade school?
Uh-huh.
Straight A's. And every time we did any artwork, straight A's. So I knew that I could draw. But it wasn't until I got to college, to BYU, that I really...
When I hear industrial design, I don't really think of creative.
It's extremely creative. That's why I love it, because industrial designers design cars, planes, trains, workstations, you name it. Anything that is mass-produced by any industry has to have an industrial designer or designers. When I was younger, beginning my design career in my 20s, I always knew that I wanted to do watercolors and that the time would come, but it wouldn't be until I got into my 50s. I had this feeling like, wait until you're in your 50s and then start doing watercolors. Because as an industrial designer with a BFA in design, I learned how to draw like the wind. I learned composition, color, perspective, everything about drawing, and the only thing I had to do once I got into my 50s was apply it to watercolors.
Do you show your work?
Absolutely.
Do you show your work?
Yeah, either in shows or competitions. I have a webpage called eduardodesigns.net that people can go on and see my work. I'm right now in the process, since I'm new to McKinney, new to North Texas, of creating a new business, focusing on doing architectural illustrations. I've been doing that for years. So as you look around and see my artwork, you can tell that there's an architectural flair to it. And McKinney has beautiful, beautiful homes. And I love to paint homes. And so, for anybody out there, I would...
And you don't mean getting on a ladder and...
I don't mean getting on the ladder. I mean... What I initially was struck with was the amazing architecture of the homes that are here, especially in Old McKinney, in historic McKinney. There is known two houses that are alike, and they have a unique variety, a wide variety of styles. And being an architectural illustrator, I noticed that and fell in love with that, and thought, I can paint here for years, just the architecture that they have here. Over the last several months, we've had this fellow. He looked homeless, come by, and he's looking for work. So we've had an amount of yard work that needed to be done. So we put him to work. Well, this last time that he was here about a month ago, he was here, and then I noticed the next morning that two of my power hand tools were gone, and two DeWalt. So I called the police. They came out and they took a record of what I had been stolen. If you have anything stolen, call the police, and what they'll do is they'll let the pawn stores know. And the pawn stores, if they have a similar product come in within several weeks, they'll report it to the police. And so sure enough, that's what happened. In the meantime, what happened is this fellow shows up again, looking for work. And so I confronted him with the facts and said that I also felt that he was that I was suspecting him to do it. And he immediately, of course, denied it. But I also noticed at that time that he was wearing one of my baseball caps that was hanging in the garage next to the power tools. Because you're going to edit this, you're going to splice it together, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. When I go like this,
that's
one of my favorite.
That's good. No, that's good. I'm absolutely going to keep that. That'll be probably the signature at the end. Yeah. That only 30% will see. Yeah. Unfortunately. If you think you have a story to tell, send me an email. But I have to tell you up front, it better be good.